Alright guys, and welcome back to the Saints View, the channel for Southampton content for our preferred 11 ahead of Saturday's trip to West Ham, East London. It's the final away game of the season, the penultimate game of our campaign. So, let's get straight into it. In between the sticks, I think it's an inevitable choice. Our number one now, and I'm sure he'll be given the number one shirt over the summer, Mr. Angus Gunn. Not his best game, it has to be said, on Saturday against Bournemouth. Some critics have said that he could have done better with the second goal, the first as well, obviously with the second one he parries it away. But I've just been so impressed with how clever he is, how he reads the game. He's a really good kicker of the ball, distribution has been a lot better than McCarthy's, and he's clearly our number one, especially now that McCarthy's injured and we have Fraser Forster on the bench. Some people have actually said that they'd like to see Forster be put in the side for this one. I can't agree. Angus Gunn it is for me. Right back, it's an inevitable choice, Mr. Jan Valery. Fantastic against Bournemouth on Saturday. I think we clearly missed him in the side. His cross for Target's goal was exceptional. One of the players I'm really looking forward to seeing next season, sort of a bit more developed, had a whole pre-season under Hasenhüttl, a really exciting player at just 20 years of age. Now with this one, I am going for the back five. I can't trust our defence. It seems that Yannick Vestergaard will still be injured for this one. Whether Yoshida will be back, I don't know, but I'm assuming that he will be fit. So it's the typical three of Jack Stephens, Maya Yoshida and Jan Bednarek, assuming that the three of them are fit. Stephens didn't have the best game on Saturday. I thought he was really good at Watford, in fairness to him, on Tuesday night. Could have lost it for us at the end, passing it very cheaply. But then he had a few good spells. Look, the first choice handful of defenders, we all know that. Whether he'll be gone in the summer, I don't think so. I think it's worth him staying around. But look, we have to play him. If we do, put him in. And I'm sure he'll try. Whether he does well is a completely different story, but he'll give it a go. As for the other two, Bednarek, for me, young player of the season, only because it's just been unreal how good and solid he's been. Valery's a really good contender as well, but I think this has been his real breakthrough season. It's so solid. Obviously Valery had the 2 goals. We can have that argument in another video, but for me, young player of the season, and I'm really looking forward, again like Valery, to see him with a whole pre-season with Ralph Hasenhüttl under his belt, starting the season as one of our first choice centre-backs. That'll give him a lot of confidence. And he's another one for the future. And then at left back, I'd go Ryan Bertrand. Yes, Target did get his goal against Bournemouth, but that was very surprising that he was even involved. We had to go back to the back five because it just didn't work with the 2 at the back against Bournemouth. We couldn't handle them, so Bertrand had to go to centre back, which I thought he did all right. He was pretty solid, but I prefer him as a left back. Of course, that's his natural position, and if we have our first choice available, inevitably I think we should put him in. Onto the midfield, I'd like to see a little bit of a change this time out, only because we are at the back end of the season and it's important that some players get some more appearances under the belt. Mario Lemina is the main one for me. I'd like to see him start this one. Obviously, I think Pierre Højbjerg will be starting. There's potential. I could see him being dropped. Not dropped, I don't think that's the right word, but rested. Only because he's had such a busy campaign, played a lot of minutes for Southampton. But yes, he is our captain, so it's inevitable that he probably will start this one, and he'll want to play as much as possible. So I'd stick him in. I wouldn't rest him, because there's nothing to rest him for, really. Now, here's a little bit of a controversial one. This is my personal opinion, as I just spoke about Lemina, and how I'd like to see him get another appearance, especially a start since he's come back from this injury. He gave away the goal that obviously drew us the game with Bournemouth on Saturday, but I'm still a big fan of Stuart Armstrong. I'd like to see him come in. Now that does mean that I would put Prowsey on the bench now, and of course I don't think that will happen. This is a preferred 11, not predicted. Prowsey's been really good, and I think it's a bit like Højbjerg. He's played a lot of football for Southampton over the last 6 months, especially 4 or 5, especially when you look at Hasenhüttl since he's come in. He's played a lot of football, and so there's a potential that he could be rested for this one. I'd like to see Armstrong be given a start personally, but if Prowsey starts, I'll be perfectly happy with that. He's been one of our players of the season. It's just I feel like Armstrong has been able to contribute, but hasn't really been given the opportunities. But I think with what he's contributed to the side this season, the 7 million price tag. I think it was a bargain. And then in terms of attack, I think it's inevitable. I would go with Nathan Redmond and Danny Ings. Ings really needs to get a goal. He hasn't had too many chances of late, but it'd be really nice to see him score. As for Redmond, he just needs to keep doing what he's doing. A little bit disappointed with him on Saturday. I thought he could have taken his chances a bit better or passed it in certain scenarios where he actually chose to shoot. He's clearly his biggest critic when it comes to sort of moaning, or not moaning, that's not the right word, but being angry with himself when he misses, when he shoots. So that's good to see, but we need to just see him be a little bit more clever in those situations, which we have done this season, because that's why he's got the numbers that he's got to his name. And then, like I've just said with Ings, he hasn't had too many chances, but I would like to see him score, because at the moment Shane Long's catching up, and there's a potentially Long might get the nod ahead of Ings because he's in such good form at the moment. But that is my preferred 11 for our game at West Ham. Let us know in the comment section below your team that you would like to see start at the London Stadium. Remember to like the video if you have enjoyed it, subscribe if you haven't yet already, and we'll see you very soon.